Joe Raiti from Raity's Rides. We're back here in the OG parking lot spot that started Raity's Rides, and we have a midsize, yes, a midsize SUV that really focuses on driving enjoyment. This is it. This is a 2022 Mazda CX-9, but guess what? This isn't any old CX-9. This is the full, all-out signature edition. But before we get into this luxury-esque three-row SUV, let's talk about what's going on here. Mazda. They really have created a little niche, little tiny, they kind of carved it out like you carve out a freaking pumpkin for Halloween. Carved out a little niche for themselves with really bringing a luxury feel to a price point that a lot of the other competition can't keep up with. When you look at this midsize SUV class, it's pretty hot. You got the Telluride, you got the Palisade, but of course then you got those originals, the Toyota Highlander, obviously the Chevy Traverse, even the Nissan Pathfinder, and plenty more where they came from. Well, guess what? With this CX-9, not a lot of changes for 2022, but one thing that is a big change is going to be standard all-wheel drive, and of course still bringing that luxury touch. What I want to do though is I want to compare the CX-9 to one of the big dogs. That's going to be the Toyota Highlander. Now what's interesting, Toyota Highlander, obviously you could get many different trims, but I really think size-wise, they're close to one another. And if you go with, say, a Highlander Limited or a Platinum, you're going to get a lot of luxury touches. So what I want to find out is which one is the better luxury style mid-size three-row SUV in this price point. We're not talking about BMWs. We're not talking about Mercedes-Benz. We'll save those for another review. But I want to find out which one is better between the CX-9 and that Toyota Highlander. Let's go ahead. Let's dive into our Soul Red. Ooh, that hits me right in my sweet spot of a soul. Soul Red Mazda CX-9 and find out. Right off the bat, the color. If you don't like this color, there's really something wrong with you because it really just shines so nicely and bright and is such a perfect color for a brand. Now, when you start at the front of the business, compared to the Highlander, I really like how Mazda brings sport. Yes, sporty style into the larger SUVs. Great shape on the headlight housing. You got your LED daytime running lamp, LED turn signals, and LED projector beam style headlight with adaptive setup. So that means when you turn the steering wheel, the headlights move with the steering wheel. Working your way down, I do have to issue a zonk. That guy right there. We do have a fake vent. I wish that this was either the actual fog lamp or a functional side air curtain. But the good news is we got some nice shiny chrome trim and you still are gonna get those LED fog lamps. They're really teeny tiny, but because they're LED, they make a big bright light. I just wish something was going on here. But other than that, nicely sculpted. You come across the front grille, that familiar shape. When you go signature trim, you're gonna get the bright silver horizontal bars. You got a forward-facing camera, that Mazda badge, and then that chrome. Now what's kind of cool is it's hard to see, but you actually have LED lighting that illuminates when you turn on the headlights that goes the whole shape of the grille. I really like that touch. Working your way down, nice large open mouth area, flat black with some chrome. We do have an intercooler because guess what? We got a turbocharger that's gonna be underneath the hood with that intercooler. Nicely designed. When we get up onto the low slung hood, like I said, sporty touch. Comparing this to the Highlander, Highlander looks more like your traditional SUV. This has some nice curves, nice lines. Everything goes right towards the A-pillars. And then as we come around the bend, what are we working with? Wheel and tire setup. You're gonna get not 18-inch wheels, not 19-inch wheels, but when you go Signature Edition, you're getting 20-inch wheels, 255 on the width, 50 series sidewall. I do like the style of the wheel. The one thing I don't like that I'm gonna zonk on the Signature Edition is the flat black. They should have painted Soul Red all over this thing. Not liking that. So that is a zonk, but I do like the 20-inch wheels and that color. It draws me to it like a moth to a flame. Coming down the side profile, nicely sculpted. You do have Soul Red on the mirror caps. You got your turn signals in the mirror caps. You do have a little bit of chrome I'm not too crazy about chrome, but I think they put it in the right places. Color matched on the door handles, and then you have shiny bright metalwork bottom and top with your silver aluminum style roof rails. Working our way back, that nice shape, all-wheel drive, like I said, is standard. And then when we swing it around the backside, what do we got? We got a nice stubby roof spoiler, zonking this. Why can't we put this wiper underneath here and extend that out a little bit more? But I do love the taillights. Like a supercar, LED, love the shape and how it's just integrated nicely into the hatch and the bumper. Sky Active G with the chrome strip across the middle. CX-9 signature all-wheel drive. I don't think there's anything else that they could put in this corner. So thankfully they didn't call this the Super Signature Edition. Signature Edition is fine with all-wheel drive. CX-9 going all the way down. What do we got? We got our dual exhaust. One exhaust on each side with some chrome trim. I like the way it's got the actual exhaust rather than nothing or some fake exhaust. But while we go ahead, I promised you a turbocharger. Let's pop the hood and take a look at the turbocharged engine in our CX-9. All right, guys, we got the hood popped. You do have a prop rod. I wish they would have moved it a little bit over because that's just gonna make Lori have to go the long way around to show off the engine. But what do we got? First of all, you got a tasteful engine cover. Yes, we can make the jokes, ha ha ha. 2 cup holders in the engine cover, but I like the Mazda badge, the Sky Active G badging with the turbo. Where's the turbo? It's against the firewall with all that heat shielding. But what do we got? We have that 2.5 liter inline-4 turbocharged engine, all-wheel drive, made it to a 6-speed automatic transmission, 250 horsepower, 320 pound-feet of torque. Now, if you're comparing this to the Highlander, you would know that that has a V6, or you could go with the hybrid setup. The Highlander does have more horsepower, but don't let that fool you because 320 pound-feet of torque is pretty sufficient. 0 to 60 in about 6.9 seconds. Top speed 132 miles an hour. The vehicle weighs 4,364 pounds. MPGs 20 in the city, 26 on the highway, and you could tow up to 3,500 pounds with this CX-9. It's a tried and true engine. It's a tried and true transmission. Yes, it's lacking some gears compared to the competition, but you know what? Let's fire up this 4-banger and hear what it sounds like. All right, guys, we're inside the CX-9 Signature Edition. We got a little bit of a shade situation here, plus the birds were starting to attack us, and I know that would make for great filming for watching, but not for actually shooting the filming. So please just bear with us in this shady situation. But I know you're saying to yourself, well, Joe, I'm not really concerned about the shade. What I'm concerned about is I got to get my family a mid-size 3-row SUV, and I don't know what to do. I want some enjoyment when I drive, but I also want a good driver of a SUV that's going to do everything I want it to do. I'm curious, though, how much is this CX-9? So this particular one, the way you see it, Soul Red, Signature, the whole shabam, you're looking at MSRP of $49,000. That puts it up against, like I said, that Highlander Limited Platinum trim. But let's see what you get for the money, especially when we're talking about luxury. To the door panels. Absolutely love the style. Even though it's been a while for a redesign, still getting nice soft touch material. I'm glad they went with that silver gray finish instead of gloss black all over the place. Looks very tasteful and classy. You got the two-tone, and that's Nappa leather. So it's not normal leather, that's Nappa leather, two-tone with some actual real wood finish around the switchgear. The only zonk is the gloss black. I wish they would have used the silver, then you wouldn't have to worry about fingerprints. We got the Bose sound system looking good in the door panel, and the door pocket is a good size. Large enough for a full foot-long Eat Fresh from Subway, and enough cup holder space for a large Mountain Dew. Now going from the door panel to the dash, same thing. It's been a while, but it's still looking good. Soft touch. There's that nice silver, almost aluminum style finish. Now when you get to the center stack, the infotainment system is the same that you find in the other Mazda products. It's a 10.25-inch infotainment system screen. It's that floating iPad style. When you go up the higher trims in a Highlander, you actually get a 12-inch screen that's full touchscreen capability. This is not. So that is the big hang up. I don't mind this, and I really don't mind using the Mazda controller to go through the different settings, but you got your Apple CarPlay, your Android Auto. What I do like over the Toyota, look how clear the resolution is. I mean, you could watch Raity's rides on that screen, and you got the trajectory, and you got your 360-degree camera. Nicely done. The start-stop button is easily, conveniently placed. You got your AC vents, dual climate control with some of the best switchgear in the business, heated seats and ventilated seats, both 3 stages each, heated steering wheel. You got a 12-volt tucked down on the side. That's going to be perfect to run your radar detector as you're going on that family trip. We got wireless charging. You just drop it right in. This is going to control the 6-speed automatic transmission. Nice open pore wood finish. A little bit of gloss black, nothing too crazy. And what I do like is that there's only one mode, sport. And you just put it into sport mode, or you don't have it in sport mode. That's it. But I do like the way they did all the finishes. There's that Mazda direct drive control knob. 2 cup holders. Let me show you the key fob. I actually like the Mazda key fob better than the Toyota key fob, especially with the buttons on the side. Good size, nice lightweight. Nappa leather. If you can't go to Nappa, California, you could have the Nappa leather. Boom, boom. Enough space, I would say, for 2 balls. So you can either play with your balls or put your balls in there. It's got felt lining so you can get that Ken Griffey Jr. baseball that was signed and that Jose Canseco, maybe even got a Pete Rose. Has he gone up in value ever since his being bunted out of the baseball league? But anyways, you can put those balls in there, USB-A's, and then more Nappa leather, baby. Love the nice smooth material, perforating the center. Look at the way they did the stitching. It's like water flowing down the seats. Love the style, the piping, full electric assist for the passenger, full electric assist for the driver. The only thing about these seats is that the bottom feels a little funky. And what I mean by that, it feels like you're sitting a little bit like a bucket, and it's kind of digging into my rear end a little bit on the side. So I'm not really loving that, but I love the way they look. And then you have a standard size sunroof. So no panoramic sunroof, standard size sunroof. But why don't you get your butt over here, because this is, like I said, a driver-focused SUV. I want to show you behind the business end, the wheel of this CX-9. All right, guys, business time in this CX-9. What's great is you're going to get 2 memory seat settings. I like the way they put them on the seat rather than the door. Nice finishes on all the switchgear, especially that lower lumbar. I'm 6 feet tall, plenty of room in here. It is a little tighter than a Highlander, but I kind of like that because it gives you that sense of being sportier in a way. But where you're really going to be sporty is holding on to the steering wheel. You're going to get a great size, great look, nice 3-spoke wheel, everything flat black, a little shiny aluminum style finish. It is a manual tilting and telescoping steering wheel. You do have paddles on the back of the wheel to go up and down the 6-speed automatic. And then what's really cool is how they do the dash. It's a nice digital display in the center, and then everything else is analog. Analog tach, coolant, fuel gauge, and then yes, that speedometer is full digital. We also have a head-up display, which is really wonderful as well. And that's going to be similar to what's in the Highlander. The Highlander, though, has a larger head-up display and also infotainment system. But why don't we get into the mid-row, because I think there's something that's going to surprise you that you can't get in the Highlander. Let's check out the mid-row of the CX-9. All right, guys, mid-row time, and this is where the Signature Edition really comes out swinging like Mike Tyson without biting any ears, which is great, because you look at what they've done here, not only with the luxurious touches, but just the actual seating arrangement is wonderful. You get that full captain's chair setup with this center console, which is great. Still plenty of headroom, even though it's a little tighter than the Highlander. Backs of the seats, Nappa leather all the way around. You actually get dual pockets. So you can actually separate your cookies. You could have the chocolate chip up here, easily put, I would say 7 to 8 chocolate chip cookies. Down here, you could put those peanut butter chunk cookies, at least a baker's dozen, because this is a larger pocket. We got our command center with rear AC that's actually controllable from the rear seat. Watch this, James Bond style. Boop. You actually have another container here. Easily put, I would say 8 Twinkies, 4 abreast, 2 high. That's your 8 Twinkies. Slide them in. I got my own pockets over here for my own cookies. And then, like I said, sitting here, I feel great. You do have 3 stages of heated seats, no ventilated seats. So 3 stages of heated seats, no ventilated seats. 2 cup holders are my own center console with 2 USB-As and enough room for 2 bags of chips, maybe Doritos and a bag of Lay's. And then you're gonna get the same great Nappa leather, like I said. Recline, oh yeah, they go really way back. I mean, more so than one of those crazy massage seats at the Brookstone store. Do they slide? Of course they do. And when it comes to the third row, yes, you have one. It's a little on the tight side, but you know what? Compared to the Highlander, it's pretty much the same for both vehicles. You do have USB-As and enough little storage area in the cup holder places on the armrests, but I like the way they went Nappa leather all the way, every single row. But you know what? Let's get to that last part, the cargo area, and see how this stacks up against the mighty Highlander. All right, guys, cargo time. Let's see how it stacks up against the Highlander and the rest of the competition. You push the button, nice electric assist. What do we got? I went ahead and I left, ow. Don't hit your head on this, that hurts. I wish that this went up a little bit higher, so I'm gonna zonk it because it hit me in the head. But anyways, I left the third row up just to give you an idea how much room we have. We have 14 cubic feet of space. You do have a 12 volt on the passenger side, which is a nice touch. And what's great about this being a 3 row, you're probably gonna take some family trips. Let me show you something. You could keep all the family board games back here. Scrabble, Trivial Pursuit, Battleship, Life, and then the game of the devil that I like to call a game called Monopoly. If you want to end relationships, even break up families and marriages, play Monopoly. And don't say I didn't warn you. But you can put all those games back here with all the pieces so you don't lose the little car. I love playing the car. That's my game piece at Monopoly, obviously. And then to fold down the seats, I like the way there's no electricity involved. You're going to use the electricity that goes from your brain to your muscles. Watch, very easy. You're just going to pull down and then push. Pull down, push. There is the third row down. Obviously, that mid row could fold down as well. But what are we looking at? You're looking at 38.2 cubic feet of space. Fold down at the mid row, you're going to get 71.2 cubic feet of space. Now, one thing I do want to point out is you got USB-As on both sides of that third row, so that's a nice touch. And there are those cup holders and snack holders for your jelly beans and jelly bellies. But let me show you, before I close this, what I like is you just easily, to get that third row back up, you're just going to actually use this as a handle to pull it back up. It doesn't need to be any more complicated than that, everybody. But you know what? If you're ready, this guy's ready. Let's take red jelly bean here and let's go on throttle in the CX-9. All right, guys, we're inside this 2022 Mazda CX-9 Signature. Right away, like I said, the layout of the cabin is so well done. Even though it has not had a redesign in a while, still very, very smartly laid out and also looks super classy. Now, I do have it in sport mode, and what you'll notice is that it actually holds on to the revs a little bit longer so that when you go on throttle, it's in that sweet spot and ready to rock and roll. The amazing thing is that don't let the 4-cylinder turbo scare you away, not thinking that there's enough power, because with the amount of torque and the way that this thing is geared, it actually accelerates faster than what you would think. And when you're comparing it to the Toyota Highlander, even though the Highlander you could get with that V6, naturally aspirated V6, this definitely feels peppier than the Toyota. Now, having that digital speedometer in the center with all the different information that you could pull up is real easy to see. Everything else clear as day. You got the head-up display, even though I wish the head-up display was a little bit larger. But one thing you're gonna really notice compared to the Mazda, the Mazda compared to the Toyota, is going to be the sound deadening material. Much quieter inside this cabin. It actually has a nicer feel when you close the doors. You get a thud rather than a clunk, which is nice. And yes, say what you will about the infotainment system, but the navigation really has great graphics. It's just not a touchscreen, at least for right now. But super smooth. And then the feedback you get to the steering wheel is really where Mazda stands out from the rest of the competition. This thing handles unlike any Highlander, that's for sure. But let's see how she handles in this right-hand bend. On throttle, here we go. Over the bumps, on the brakes, staying in the middle lane, and then you power out. Very composed, very confidence inspiring. It would be interesting to drive the XSE trim of the Highlander, but obviously when you go XSE, you're losing a lot of the luxurious touches that you get from the limited and the platinum. But other than the seat bottom cushion being a little weirdly shaped, everything else is super comfy in here, and visibility is wonderful. Now the third row, like I said, it's on the tighter side, but it's the same story whether you go Highlander or if you go with the CX-9. But I love the way all the controls are just well within reach. The wood finish is nice, not too much gloss black. Let's go ahead, let's shift with the paddle. So I'm putting it in manual shift mode, downshift, second gear. Let's see if I can get slow enough for first gear real quick. First gear. On throttle, here we go. So you can have a little bit more spirited driving with this vehicle, especially when you're using the paddles. You do have the gear indicator at the bottom, which is nice. And then let me show off that forward-facing camera. So I'm coming to a stop here. I hit the view button on my left-hand side of the steering wheel, and now you get that great camera quality out the front with trajectory and the 360. All right, guys, here we go, on throttle. All-wheel drive works great, gets the power to the ground. Six-speed automatic shifts well. I know a lot of people want a couple extra gears, but it really does shift well and smooth, that's for sure. But driving down the highway, very composed. Where you really get to have the fun is when the road gets twisty, because like I said, handling, dynamics, and characteristics, Mazda hits it out of the park. All right, guys, once again, driving down the road. Let's drop it down a couple gears here. I'm gonna push the shifter back over. On throttle, here we go. Really nice, the balance. The way it just feels as you're driving down the road. Super smooth. And, you know, for a mid-size SUV, it is nice to navigate with. It's not this heavy, clunky, cumbersome vehicle. It actually handles really well for its size. All right, guys, here we go. On throttle. Yeah, all-wheel drive. Nice shifts on the brakes. Look how balanced and just on its toes this thing is. I absolutely love the way this CX-9 handles. Even over the bumps, it's not beating you up. You're not having to go to the doctor to go find your organs that bounced out of your body. It really is smooth, but it's also very capable, which is great too. All right, guys, getting back out onto the highway. like I said, and this thing is really no problem. On throttle, here we go. I'm telling you, I like the way the 6-speed automatic behaves. I'm not really needing for more gears. I'll put it back into normal. Just drops the revs. And here we are on the highway. Nice and smooth. Hopefully though, this has been a great overview for you. We got to get back to where it all started and wrap this one up, so I'll see you in a split second. Guys, it's been a fun-filled day with this Mazda CX-9. I definitely got to thank everybody over at Mazda USA for allowing us access to this pristine, eye-popping, soul red CX-9 Signature Edition. Let me know what you think. Does Mazda bring enough on this higher end that has so much luxury, so much sportiness, more so than the Toyota Highlander? Put it in the comment section. But until we meet again, I'm dying to find out what you have to say about this. If you're new to the channel though and you're on your way out, hit that subscribe button. I promise you it's worthwhile. Come back for more. If you are a subscriber, thank you for being part of the Raiti's Rides family. If you want to help us keep making great content just for you, click the link in the description. Get yourself some Raiti's Rides merch. Got to give it up to the rock star behind the lens. She's rocking that camera like a champ. Show Lori some love in the comment section. Thank you, Lori, for all that you do. And just like always, guys, I'll see you on the next ride.